This is freedom. I mean, I know TGIF. People love it. But think about it. If you really love your Fridays that much, and for many reasons you might want to, perfectly good reasons too. But, if you are doing something day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, that you don't actually love, maybe you should do something different. Right? If the only thing you look forward to is the end of the work week because you don't actually enjoy your work, maybe you should consider doing some other kind of work, if that is at all possible. And I realize for many people it may appear not to be possible. Here's the thing though. If there's one thing we humans can do, it's adapt. For the most part. We adapt until we don't. Right? We change until we don't. And the one thing you can count on in life is change. So, that's what I wanted to share with you about that. And then bring your attention to a much more straightforward kind of discussion, which I know many of you will probably think is, oh, boring, ho-hum. And you might be right. It might be. But I'm going to talk about good old-fashioned cryptocurrency, and specifically the Bitcoin. That's right. I know, shocker, coming from me, a channel that talks about it regularly. Now, what have I been telling you all week before the ATH was set, technically, and after? But if there's something you could count on to tell you what was going to happen, it was the VEPs, right? And was the VEPs accurate? As always, it's accurate. But wait, you can't know everything all the time, right? Because randomness. However, guess what? We can measure the randomness. And that's right. We can tell you when an asset is on a random walk. And we can tell you when it is in a trending move. One of the easiest things you can do is to take a trade in a trending move. And you can find trending moves by flipping around different time frames. Obviously, the higher the time frame, the more significant that trending move will be. And of course, if it turns around quickly, the more significant that turnaround can be. And that is why it is good to flip between time frames to constantly see what's happening on the lower time frames that affects what is happening on the higher time frames. So, for example, we had very nice trending moves on the 4-hour recently. But if you weren't looking carefully, you could have easily gotten wrecked if you had, like too many leveraged traders do, an over-leveraged position, and the asset moved against you even a tiny amount, regardless of which crypto you were trading recently, because many of them were moving up and down because their returns were going crazy as a result of Bitcoin reaching areas of the all-time high, and then breaking the all-time high, and then plummeting down, and then bouncing back up. So you had a lot of volatility that were, giving wild returns and driving price action all over the place. But if you'd been following the trending moves and the random walks on the lower time frames, like the 9 minute, the 6 minute, the 3 minute, and of course the 1 minute, well, you would have seen all that coming. And if you had kept an eye on the 1 minute, and even lower, but let's just say the 1 minute, you would have known when to get out of, for example, Bitcoin, right when it hit the all-time high. Because you would have seen it's about to make a move to the downside. And it sure as heck did. Wasn't by accident. There's even a recording of me saying, I can feel the FOMO coming. And then saying, here it comes. So I said, all-time high, new all-time high, here we go, it's going to dump. Boy, did it dump. Over the course of the next 4 hours, it fell like 14.5%, which is, 14.5%. Sure, it's a lot, but if you're not trading in the levered position, it doesn't bother you. I mean, if you understand how the VEPS works, because you realize it's going to probably go back up again. If you weren't fast enough to get out of your trade. Right? Of course, over 4.5 hours, if you were in a trade at the top, you should have gotten out. Right? Unless your trade was too short at the top, which is great. Because then you made a nice fat chunk of change on the way down with several bounces until it fell to its bottom. So you had several trades that were easily available, adding up more than 14.5% if you'd gotten all the hills and valleys. But even if you didn't, if you were not even in a trade, or if you were in a trade, even in a long, right, and you just got out as soon as it went near your purchase price, because obviously you should not have bought the very top at the ATH, that would be insane, right? And of course some people did. Not just some people, right? Many millions of dollars got liquidated at the top, like literally at the top, because they bought positions of like 100x, 125x at the top, not even, $500 short of it or something, like at the top. When you're buying an asset when it gets a new all-time high, and that asset has lots of indications that are relevant to the trading that say this asset's ready to take a little dump, and again, it's a top, you gotta ask yourself, why are you even trading? Have you never heard of the expression, buy low, sell high? That's what it means. Plain as day. If you're buying the all-time high, do you think you're buying low? I mean, don't give me your I believe it's going to be worth $1 million someday crap. If you believe it's going to be worth $1 million someday, why didn't you buy it when it was at 15K? Why didn't you buy it when it was back at 3K? Why didn't you buy it when it's back free or $1? Okay? So, listen, I love Bitcoin too. I think it's also going to be worth a ton of money one day in the future. Does that mean that I want to buy tops or sell bottoms? No. The only time people should ever buy tops or sell bottoms, well, buy tops you should never have to do this, but the only time people should ever sell bottoms is if they happen to run out of money and they don't have a choice and they have to liquidate some assets in order to pay for stuff. Right? That's the only viable reason that a trader or an investor should ever sell a bottom. Basically bills, right? Or money. Money you owe to people. Other than that, you should never sell bottoms. Unless you just love burning money. In which case, tell me, and I'll leave I'll send you my address you can deposit to. You want my Bitcoin wallet address? I'll give it to you. Send me all the Bitcoins you want. And I won't sell them at the bottom. But if you love burning money so much, hey, send me your wallets full of Bitcoin. No problem. So why do I say this? And hopefully you're not literally one of the people who was doing the buying at the top and the selling at the bottom. In case you are, well, you can stop doing that. Right? There's better ways to trade. Specifically, trade using what we call the VEPs, which again is volatility, entropy, probability, and statistics. And yes, we coined that term, the VEPs, over at Alpha Trading. Why do I suggest that? Well, I suggest for anybody who wants to learn how to trade better to trade using the VEPs. Unless you're already trading similar modes, similar modalities of trading volatility, entropy, probability, and statistics in some other way. Or if you can show me some better way, it's even better than that. However, as we know that to be the way that is used by the HFT firms and by the algorithm firms, or the quant shops as they are known, shops full of quantitative traders, well, there's no real good reason not to use that system. Why? Well, because those are the types of firms financially that actually control the market. Right? What do I mean by control the market? Well, it's a free market. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's not a free market. Ideally, it's a free market, but it's full of regulation and controls to make sure that certain things do happen and certain things don't happen. Right? And so, when you look at the actual number of orders placed on any market, on any asset, on any time frame, you will see the overwhelming majority of them are run by HFT firms and the quant shops that build the algos that they use. Yeah, what do I mean by the overwhelming majority? Somewhere in the area of like 70 to 90% of all the trades, of all the orders, let alone the trades, running on pretty much any asset class, on any asset specifically, across any market, or any liquid asset where there's actually trading happening, you will see the big firms are trading it with bots. Now, if that isn't a wake-up call to you, I don't know what is. So, if you want to learn how it's done, go to alphatradinghq.com/Discord. Join the Discord. It's free. You can learn for free. You can get free indicators to learn for free. You can get a free chart to use as indicators on. You'll never be charged for those things. Take as long as you want to learn with them. And that's it. Happy trading.